Please visit www.patreon.com/oneseedaday for extra content with Annatina and Emma about the balance between chaos and order, for the divine expression of art, where we share more intimately about emotional sustainability in creative processes.
Hello.
Hey.
Good afternoon. So, who are you?
Who am I? I'm a human, stranded in Finland. Yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Annatina and originally from Switzerland. Yes. And through my partner I came into this project. So we started this together 10 years ago.
So, we are in this beautiful forest with the Solbacka Community, right? And what are you going to show us today, this afternoon?
Well, I will show us just a bit around our house, from our garden or the cooperation with the plants.
Aha!
Yes. And what we are trying to do. So it's actually what I like. Until now it was not necessary to production much. Of course I would love to have lots of nice vegetable and fruits, but I like to see what is the nature doing here actually, and which plants are around already and what is possible. So I do lots of mixes and look at the symbiosis of the plants, how they work together and what comes good, what not. And I love that it's blending into the wild. Until now, because if I would make a real garden plot, it would need to be very good protected from the wild animals, because they would come and eat everything. And until now, when we did like small plots here and there with vegetables, then they let them be. They didn't come and eat them away. Yes.
Yeah, maybe many people could think that the climate in Finland is very harsh, so maybe many plants would not thrive the way they maybe do in southern countries. But well, as I could see, actually it seems like many of them are quite happy here.
Yes.
So do you think it maybe has also to do with the humans who take care of them? Or is just
Oh yes, I'm sure. Because I noticed I was away a whole month from here in the middle of the summer when it was really dry. And definitely, I could see, okay, other people took care, which I'm very happy that they did, else they would have died in this dryness. But I think, yes, they do connect. Especially also the wild herbs, I noticed they do. Suddenly there appears new wild herbs around the house, which were not here before. So I do believe in it, that yes, those herbs one maybe needs, or which is good for one, they come also. And to grow from the seeds, it's not such a big difference to Switzerland, the climate here. It's comparable with a little bit the mountains in Switzerland. And there it's similar climate. So it's like the berries wild, and apples is still coming really good. And I noticed that the more pears and this, they really struggle here. But they just easily get some kind of sickness, until now at least.
The apples we can see later also downstairs, right?
Yes, we can also walk a bit.
Yes, please show us. So here it's more kind of pumpkin.
Yeah.
Up of a very nice pumpkin area.
They actually came not wild, but that was earlier a compost, and they just came out of the seeds and I let them be. So some of them actually do have fruits, pumpkins.
I was also questioning, like, are you living, like, I love eating pumpkin flowers, and so I was wondering, like, if you leave them because in this way they can kind of become fruits, or for any reason, specific one?
Yes. Yeah, we let them that they can become the fruits, but now it's too late, so now we could eat the flowers. And yes.
That's a great news for me.
Yes, definitely. I also love. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can see that generally, like where humans are, also nettle grows. Like the nettle has the tendency to grow where, like, humans also donate some things to the earth, right? At least
Yes.
some.
Yeah, the nettles always appear. Yes. I'm very happy. I love the nettles. I use them for lots of things.
I was hearing from a researcher at Aalto University. She's doing doctoral work together with Politecnico di Milano. So it's a kind of Italian-Finnish project, and they are doing research about like fiber extracted from nettle. So in the stems, they have very long fibers, and they are kind of working on the possibility to use it for fabrics and stuff. So yeah, definitely nettle is a super versatile plant, super tasty and useful.
And yes, and I just love it also as tea or as spinach, and also as fertilizer for the plants.
Oh, I never.
Yeah, when you soak it in the water, like up there we have some.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean now. Yeah.
Is this a kind of compost tea, or it's a different principle?
Yeah, it's, I don't know in English. Well, it's like a nutrition for the plants.
So the plants are fermenting inside there.
Yes. And I mixed it with different plants, but usually nettle is for sure one of them. And then some others also, which are good. Especially the tomatoes definitely need always this kind of nutrition.
And do you have like a specific way to mix the plants, or are you kind of mixing some seeds and let themselves just be and grow how they naturally?
No, I do mix those which like each other, more or less. But then I like to experiment a lot. So, and I noticed also over each year I'm learning from it, what works and what doesn't. So for example, now with the climate for the tomatoes, I noticed, okay, I think it would be wonderful to have a little dome here, like a greenhouse dome, because of course they don't like so much water and wind. But still I have some kind of tomatoes which come really nice, some small ones.
And also in the greenhouse there might be already also space for tomatoes and things like that. Do you suggest to have like a greenhouse dome here?
Yes, for the tomatoes, because here is most sun. And we have a greenhouse on the east side of the house. And last year the tomatoes were there, but they got huge leaves, but not much tomatoes.
Oh, no.
And I think it's because there's not that much sun the whole day. But the cucumber love it, because they don't like so much sun. So now I placed cucumbers there.
Nice.
Yes.
And since I'm like just beginning to dive into this world, could you tell me like some plants that really do be close to each other? Like, I don't know, maybe what is your experience like here in your experiments, in your cooperation area? Which plants do like does it
to
depend
be each
also
other.
on something, like, I don't know, maybe herbs, fruits,
Yes.
or vegetables, or maybe they don't even care about like our human taxonomy or categorization.
Yeah. For example, the herbs, and also some flowers like this tagetes. For example, that one. They're really good to keep away bugs also.
Oh.
So around cabbages, for example, they are very good. And also, yeah, cabbage and tomatoes and herbs. And also those, they are really good around tomatoes. They just support somehow, I don't know, the root system, but also with the bugs. And there is just some specific which don't like each other, and that's cucumber tomatoes and potato tomatoes.
Ah, they cannot be close.
Yes, they shouldn't be close.
So nightshades with cucumbers don't like each other.
Maybe.
Both are nightshades, tomatoes and potatoes.
Yes.
And this one is kind of also a spicy one, and also for the salad and the flour.
This is very spicy, and last year we had so much, so I made a lot of pesto, and it was fantastic. It was so good. Yeah,
So is the taste kind of more in the lemon direction, or
you can try?
Yeah.
Degustation. I don't remember the name. How is the name?
In German it's Kapuzinerkresse.
Ah, yeah, it's
Don't know in English.
it's a bit hard to tell, but I would say a mix between wild herb and a very slight kind of wasabi spice.
Yes.
Spicy, right? Or well, rafano in Italian. I don't remember
Rafano.
in English.
We will put the
Very
English word on the screen.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
What we already talked about a few days ago was that also the rocks reflect a lot of heat to the plants, which many people know from Sepp Holzer, although many people do it, and it's not. It's probably a very a technique that you also can confirm. Is it?
Yes, definitely. Especially combined with a good manure on the earth. Because this spring I didn't bring that much manure. Last year we brought a lot of alpaca manure, like the caca, old caca from alpacas. And then it was growing amazing, especially the tomatoes, with the heat of the rock.
Yeah, probably the chicken also give their contribution as kind of. I'm not sure if you consider
I have
that.
big struggles with them because we like to have them free until now. But of course, when I put the seeds and the little plants come, they eat it immediately.
Ah, okay.
So I put that little fence, and it actually worked a lot because they can fly, but they didn't. They were lazy somehow to fly in. But they start to be too many now to just to be free the whole day.
Would it be maybe interesting to move their house, which we maybe are passing by, to down, where there is not yet so much chicken manure, and then they automatically will not come so much up here?
I think actually it depends a lot from where the food comes for them. And they like to hang around here because of the food, which comes out from our house. And also we had a habit of sometimes feeding them somewhere here, close to the house. And now they just love it here. So I think if we start to put the food again only where they have their house, it's easier with the chicken poo, but not with the plants. They will anyway come and eat them.
Yeah, I like to think that somehow in every environment in which animals are, they contribute in some ways, like with company, with fertilization of the soil. So it's interesting also when you were saying about the manure and the heat, because maybe possibly also their poop helps in a thermal sense, but I don't know. It's just a kind of thought that came. that came to me.
It's really good, especially, I mean, in permaculture they use a lot that they put it certain season of the year, they let the chicken there and they turn the ground, put their sheets there, but then they are not allowed to be there anymore because they would then destroy the little plants.
Okay.
So that would be the probably more better way how to cooperate with them.
Yeah, oh, there are also the babies.
Yes. And what I especially love is to harvest wild herbs and also wild berries, because that's natural here and it comes anyway. Doesn't need so much caretaking, and I like that.
So, is it like this, that up here there are also some plants that need more heat and sun? And here below maybe like plants that need maybe more wind, or not necessarily?
Well, we just noticed with the trees that when we were growing, when we planted the trees, the fruit trees, that, for example, this little apple tree down here is coming fine, but since there is more ice and frost in the winter down there, the cherry died.
Oh.
But the cherry tree, which is higher up on the slope, is survived. Yes.
And I was curious to ask you, like as a feeling, of course, probably knowing the exact number is kind of difficult, but
oh, there's a
could you
nice
make,
butterfly. This
oh,
mint.
nice.
Ah, it's closing.
Could you make an estimation about like how, like by feeling, how many species of different plants you have in your collaboration?
Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea. You mean including the wild plants?
Yes.
I have absolute no clue how many there are. I just really love when they mixing up so much as they do, because that was the beginning garden was actually this. So I made these stone terraces, and they were very clean and had specific plants there. And with time, with year, they started to grow wild. And I just let it them because many wild herbs are actually coming here now, like this St. John's, for example.
Ah, yeah.
So that's why I just leave it a bit to see what happens.
Oh, what is that?
The rose.
Oh, that's rosebuds, roseberries.
Yes.
Wow.
The thymian comes really nice on those stones.
Yeah, that one is happy here.
Yeah.
Thymian all over the place.
Yeah,
There
we
is
were,
Enough for the kitchen.
And so many lizards living in those stones.
Oof.
Also.
And they also bring interesting manure, I heard.
Ah,
Lizards,
yeah.
actually.
Lizard manure.
yeah, we were enjoying the thymian in the gurken salad.
That's lemon.
Yeah, lemon thymian.
Lemon thymian.
Yeah.
Lemon thyme.
And I remember that the other day we were discussing about like if it makes sense to bring, you know, like plants that are not originally from a place in a place. But then Marius was telling that basically maybe we as humans have concepts about like preservation of one ecosystem as it is, but at the same time it is true that basically plants are kind of much more inclusive simply by enabling the growth that is very mixed. So probably we're sticking too much on human concepts, but like when you said by bringing like plants that maybe we are kind of used to have also in our supermarkets and stuff, but of course it's different because you're growing them here in a much more mixed way somehow, and also without using pesticides and any substance, then yeah, actually it's just like letting the ecosystem include new plants, and maybe also facilitating some wild herbs to grow, because maybe the soil gets new nutrients and stuff. So I was just reflecting about like how much we think that some concepts that are human would apply in agriculture necessarily, or in ways to approach collaboration.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think whenever it is this mixed growing, when plants can be mixed together, then I think they actually do take care more or less of the how much is of what. But for sure there is some few plants which are like invasive. And I love, for example, one of them, it's like the lupin.
Okay.
But it's an invasion in Finland, and people don't want to have them, that you plant them in your garden. I know some places they are not spreading because there is lots of other plants. But they are spreading actually next to the road where there is nothing, where it was digged away everything, and there they are spreading. So I think even the lupin would manage here if there is no monoculture so much. But yeah, that's some, and I guess there is also some other plants, yes, in Finland also, which is. But fruit trees, for example, I mean, I don't see why they should harm the nature. They're not spreading like crazy. It's more hard that they can survive. Yes.
Also considering that some plants only evolved alongside us, we need to plant them in order to uphold this biodiversity.
Yeah. Yes, because so many seeds are lost also of vegetables, varieties of. Yeah, then we have that. This is my favorite tree on the land at the moment. It's like a really old juniper.
Yes.
We had it yesterday during the fire. Kian brought us juniper.
Yes. Yeah, I love that one, and because there were so many other trees standing here which we already cut. Else it would be a thick forest here. And sometimes this is for me a little bit strange, because I know in so many areas in the world they are planting trees, try to save the local forests. And here I feel we are cutting down that we all can breathe and be not totally covered in again by the spruce and the birch. But still, it's also this balance, I feel, how it's to leave some and then take away some. That juniper really liked that we took away the big spruces around it. So since that actually it became much bigger.
Yeah, probably also this idea that cutting trees is super bad. It doesn't apply totally in forests, because like dying trees get covered in mycelium and mushrooms, and this like also brings more life. And I know that in some places they are doing it on purpose to like enrich the microbiome somehow. So maybe it is not something necessarily wrong.
Yes, I also believe, because I can show you the pond also.
Yes.
Yeah, it is similar with digging. Like we had this idea of making a pond. And I said to Kian, let's not use machines, we just do it by hands.
Aha.
And he was just saying, are you crazy? And I imagined with my Swiss mind like a little pond. And he, of course, he saw the potential here, like for this pond. Yes, and then there came the big machine and was digging. And I mean, in the moment of the digging, it's like killing a lot of small lives. It's like really sad to see. But some years later, I felt that it improved for the nature also, and the nature beings. Lots of deers coming here to drink. And
Yeah, and by the way, the other day, as we were sitting on that stone, after you went away and I was talking to Kian, we had like 2 deers, baby deers, just running through the forest, like just a few meters from us.
nice.
So they seem like to respect the area, but also like interacting in a very discreet way.
Yes. Yes, they always come from this side, and they don't enter necessarily over here.
Yeah, and what can you tell us about this water that is kind of brownish, reddish?
Well,
Is it because of a certain reason?
yes, it has some. Well, just what I see is our lake where we go swim. It's like 10 minutes by foot from here. It's like a spring water lake, and it has a more clear water. It's a bit more bluish clear. And also to drink, it's really delicious. And this water just comes from the forest. I think it must have more iron in it, that it's more reddish, but I haven't proved or anything. But there is just many lakes in Finland actually have this color.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe more iron. And the ground is clay. And the other lake, the ground is rock. So that could also have actually an impact.
Yeah, probably, as you say, more minerals.
Yes, I think it matters, and yeah, depends on the minerals.
Yeah, I'm not seeing like algae, particular kinds, or at least visible ones.
Yeah, we are swimming here and it's very clean, the water. It's nice. It's really cold because the ground is clay, so it's really cold also in the hot summer.
Refreshing.
Yes.
Ihr
wollt Kuchen? Ah.
Do you want to eat cake? Möchtest du Kuchen essen?
Maybe I can show the cake, because what I love is to cook with the food which is here, even the vegetables or berries, and then make something nice out of it. So maybe we can...
Let's go and see the cake.
Also, what I just wanted to ask is that, like, which plants you planted specifically close to the lake, or if there were some that you planted around the lake.
Yeah, actually that one is a plum.
We have a rose
now
here.
actually it does have plums.
Roses,
Oh,
plums,
That's actually
even
the
fruits. Nice.
first year I see it has
also
plums.
raspberry, it seems.
You want?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, raspberries. There is lots of raspberries wild coming. They usually come almost as the first thing when you dig away an area, or when they cut it, the forest, then the raspberries come. And they're actually sometimes, some years we have a lot of raspberries. And then we planted just some gooseberries, and we have a Finnish friend which brought own trees which he was growing from seeds. Like some Siberian apple tree is over there.
Siberian apple tree.
Yes.
Wow.
And he brought all different kinds of trees. I marked them with stones and I put the name on.
I think I saw an oak over there with a stone.
Yeah, we have many oaks. Not many, but because we love oaks and they grow nice in Finland. It's just not so common in the forest to have oaks. But this one is one.
And we also have our seed of the day.
Yeah. Please
What-
plant,
what
plant the seed.
do we want to plant them maybe?
Yeah.
Do you do you have preferences concerning the
Where
place?
to plant them?
Yeah,
No.
can be everywhere.
It can be
and
somewhere
then
here, maybe.
let's
Then
see
we
if
have more
they-
plums.
If they thrive.
Okay.
So if they grow, we will have a very nice common memory of this time together. Great.
What our boys like to do, they go fishing in another lake, and then they brought fishes here, alive. And now actually we do have lots of fishes.
Oh.
Yes. So that's nice.
Yeah, so maybe also their poop fertilizes this little ecosystem.
Yeah. Also, we have this frog vibration concert every year, 1 week in April, when they come, wake up. And I love it. You sit on the terrace and it's really like, it's like such a vibration. And then they go and leave the eggs.
Wow.
Or not the eggs, what is it?
I don't know in English.
The frog babies.
Frog
embryos.
babies. Yeah.
Ah, that's our rooster.
Möchtest du eine Pflaume? Pflaume? Ja.
Yeah.
Dann nehmen wir eine Pflaume für dich.
No. Yeah, we even have a watermelon here. It's in the greenhouse in there.
Do you want to show it before the cake?
Yeah, do you see it through the window?
Uh-huh.
That's the baby one, but behind is a bigger one.
So this whole greenhouse is
I
the
can
east
show
side.
it. Oh, there are two actually. Yeah, there are two. Here.
Yeah, that's the east
There is
side.
also another baby.
And then
maybe they make it to grow enough
Yeah.
before a full.
and then over, if I understand right, over there are grapes growing.
Yeah, there's
Grapevine.
grapes. But they haven't given yet any grapes. I'm wondering if it's also not enough sun actually, this east, for them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because there can be nice little grapes in Finland, on the south side. Let's see.
Oh, also something interesting that we were discussing yesterday is that apparently this plant here is used to make kind of finished tobacco.
Yeah, with the
Apparently.
leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were again like coming back to the topic of what does it mean to be indigenous and to somehow approach this this way of living. And we were realizing that basically every place in which you can live provides you with some specific tools or specific resources like plants that can be used for textiles, for dyeing, for food, for materials. And yeah, I remember that you were saying that it fascinates you very much to learn about indigenous communities.
Now here's the cake.
Yes.
Someone is hungry.
Yeah, here is the cake. Zucchini chocolate cake.
Indigenous cake.
An indigenous cake. Yeah, we have some cacao from a far away country.
In cake
Yes.
zucchini.
Yeah.
Zucchini. Wow.
Puppe? Wir tun jetzt... Oh.
So we have something very special here.
Yes.
Amazing handmade walls with different characteristics. What can you tell to us about these?
Yeah, we got this really nice clay from Estonia, from Charlie, which has been building the Dragon Temple. They used the same clay. And then one can put different pigments in it. So there is 2 kinds of clays. Yeah, and we basically have been putting them on some mats of, what is it? It's like growing next to the sea, this shelf. Yeah.
I will blend in the word in English, yeah.
So we have been putting them there, and then...
Can you put your hand on it, so from close that we can see?
Yes.
It's like another idea.
Then making 2 layers. First a more rough one, and then the second one was really, really smooth, and it was so meditative to do. I really loved it, but was also a bit tough. This one you don't work with the hands. You work with a tool, which has this spachtel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then it gets really...
Yeah, it really looks like a super fine work.
Yeah. And I really love it. It feels so good for the air also, these walls. Yeah. And then we wanted to have 2 different kind of, so we chose then to have there this light color one.
Yeah, I feel that the atmosphere is very warm because of these colors as well.
Yeah, and when we were away in Switzerland, a friend of us, he has been building this kitchen in the meanwhile. So it was a big surprise. We came home, it was like, oh, we have a kitchen.
Super nice. I was also wondering where does this stone come from, if you know it.
Yeah, Kian got them from somewhere in Espoo, near Helsinki.
Wow.
But if they are from Finland, I guess. I have no clue actually if it's... We didn't clean up, no.
Yeah, it's super good to have stone in the kitchen. It gives a very strong energy to food, I feel.
And we are very fascinated by this, actually in Ticino, the Italian part of Switzerland. They have these stone houses. And we loved Kian also. He said, oh, I want such stones in my house. So he was very excited to have some parts with stones.
You could also put your hands on that one so that we can see a little bit the difference.
Yes.
And the hand really helps to get an idea of how it might feel and look actually.
And it's actually a lot of sand and it's very tiny straw pieces. We did travel a lot, back and forwards. And for that we travel a lot with airplane, because it's just so far with cars and trains with the children. And I think that was for me always a big challenge, because I know airplanes, it's just like, yes, I mean, we know how they are.
With children.
Huh?
To travel in the airplane with children.
In general, I just never feel really good with the airplanes. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually connects to one point that for me seems to be very important in like communities and lifestyle in general, which is actually one point that maybe it's generally not necessarily given the importance that it needs, which is social and emotional sustainability. So sustainability, it's not only about, you know, taking care of the ecosystem, but also I can imagine that for you, for instance, having a trip of maybe 10, 12 hours with the children in the car would be like emotionally too draining. And so I totally understand your feeling of,
Yes.
you know, feeling guilty because of maybe the pollution that an airplane can have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have also to take care of yourself, because if you drain your energy, then the care that you give to the community, to the environment in which you live, to the other people, gets somehow drained. And if you exhaust your energy, then everybody and everything somehow has consequences.
Yes, you're right.
So we are in the amazing kitchen lab.
The experimental kitchen lab.
Yeah. Yeah, this is supposed to become an outdoor kitchen, because we already have one for the community in the front. And with time we will also need one here. And here we experimented with the cup to make creatures. And it was a lot of fun and lots of people involved.
Eldar was showing us yesterday, was like telling us like, what do you see here? And we were like, oh, that looks like an ear. And he said like, oh, what else? And actually we were maybe not good observers, but he said like, this is an elephant, this is the eye, and this is the nose.
Yeah.
And then you have here kind of Buddha, right? Or
Yes, kind of a Buddha, Krishna. It was a friend of us making.
I thought Krishna was a friend of us, and I thought like, oh, yeah, probably
We also have a friend which calls Krishna, but it was not him. Yeah, and that also appeared actually. It appeared a bit like this kind of, what is it called?
Is it a narwhal?
Swordfish.
Yes, and that's why we made it then. It
It's a
was not
fish.
that we wanted to make it, but it just showed that, oh, it looks like this. Swordfish, yeah. Narwhal.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how the kind of structural material serves itself also as a creative material.
Yes.
What becomes here quite obvious, similar to the places where the diamonds were put in downstairs, in the birch leaf house, or in, how do we call the nest?
Karuda's nest.
Karuta's nest.
There is Karuda.
There is Karuta. We will come to him in a moment.
Yeah.
What becomes quite clear here also is that with handmade clay structures in the house, we can also form things that serve as
That's
actually-
actually
as-
became a bird nest. Birds
yes,
are always
it,
nesting there.
we can do things that serve as furniture at the same time. For candles, for books, for light bulbs.
And we can see here also what you were mentioning before, so the metal structure
Exactly.
that can help also having more organic maybe.
Yes.
And also...
Yeah, look. Wow.
Oh,
Bird nest. Yeah.
beautiful. And also this part I like a lot, because I can imagine that with light it also projects a lot of colors in the interior of the house or of the space.
Yeah.
And I think I saw this. Oops.
Be careful.
I think I saw this technique already in some earthship pictures.
Yeah, they use it a lot. Yeah.
And
Also in
also
bathrooms, it's very nice.
and also one part. Oh, actually, this one seems a kind of the back of a, you know, this things to drain the water from pasta.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So there is a lot of upcycling.
Yes.
And then a part that I personally like very much is this one.
Do you want to explain us?
Yeah, it's a friend of us which she is an artist in pottery. Yeah, she makes pottery art sculptures. And she came and made our family there. Very spontaneous.
So there's the father.
That's Kian.
And there are you.
And the squirrel.
And then there is like
And there is...
a fox or...
That's also a squirrel, actually.
Yeah, they're all squirrels.
She said that's Sapphire and Eldar, the little bear, and Avanor,
Yeah.
the very, very little one.
All
That was how she sees our family.
And also there we have the furniture. That makes me think like having this at the side of the shower also, and in the bath to put soap and toothbrush and so on.
It's also some kind of frog with eyes, with teeth.
Yeah, I was also seeing the frog in that case.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
sure.
mouth.
Also in the kitchen for having spices and...
Yeah, one could make really beautiful shelves, yeah, with the clay.
And I was also remembering that Kian mentioned that this is a kind of experimental space, because where you were planning to have the oven in winter, it became a bit clear that having basically a source of heat close to the stones makes then the snow melt, and so basically creating like water that runs into the space. And so therefore this is very useful to understand like what should be taken into consideration also for the bigger space that you will have under the nest.
Yeah, I mean for this oven one can still fix it for summer kitchen, and but we need to make a protection around, because it's just when it's raining or the ice is melting in the spring, it's all running down there. Yeah.
So what is actually the story about this bat?
The karuta.
The karuta.
Yeah, karuta is this human bird. In the Buddhist also, but it comes in many mythology actually, this human bird. And Kian was clearly feeling this is Karuta's nest when he started to build the house. And we also had a bird family nesting in the house when it was still open walls. And yeah, one night I had a dream. It was actually a bit scary. I dreamt like that I was standing on the terrace and there was sitting this half human, half bird. He was like half eagle somehow on the tree, and he was just like staring without emotions. And I was so somehow like, how can he live like he's just living on trees? But he's somehow human, but somehow not. And I was really somehow scared also, but also somehow like, wow. Then he was just flying over me, and it was like, then I woke up and Kian was like, yeah, that was Karuta.
It's going to rain. Now I feel clearly that it's going to rain. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Do we
Also for your time.
For your presence. For our time, for our presence.
Yes. It's so nice.
Please visit www.patreon.com/oneseedaday for extra content with Annatina and Emma about the balance between chaos and order for the divine expression of art, where we share more intimately about emotional sustainability in creative processes.